Hey guys, welcome back to Troutman Family Presents. I am Joe, and this is my friend Steve. Steve was on the channel before with the classified scale Tomahawk. He was also the engineer that did the sculpt on the Dragonfly and the upcoming Rattler.
Yep.
So thanks for coming back onto the channel.
Thank you for having me on.
So today we have something super special, super exciting. This is Steve's newest project that he just finished. Yeah, let's go ahead and bring it up. So this here is the Conquest from G.I. Joe. This is classified scale. And this was, let's bring it a little bit of an angle there.
Perfect.
So this was originally from 1986?
1987, I think.
1987. So the 1987 line. And
I think. It's either 86 or 87.
awesome. Well, it looks phenomenal. And yeah, you can see it's in scale with the Dragonfly. We've got it up next to the Hiss tank. And, you know, the forward swept wings look awesome. All the missiles look just really cool on it. And we did cheat a little bit. We used some stickers from the Dragonfly, which just fit perfectly onto the front to give it that classic shark mouth and eye. So, so Steve, I'm going to let you tell us a little bit about what you did with it.
Okay.
I guess first, why did you pick the Conquest for your next one?
All right. So yeah. So basically, I wanted to be able to make a vehicle that was, again, a decent size, something that was comparable to the Rattler that's coming out, and then of course the Dragonfly, and then because it's 3D printed, and the backers who back this, and it's specific backers, so it's limited backers is what it is. So it's not like other files I have that are on my site you can just go download. With these ones here, these guys who are backing it actually can print and sell, just similar to like with the Tomahawk, and so they have a license where they can print. So you know you're gonna see, you know, people are gonna, or they're already saying they're gonna do the Python Patrol version of this.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
I know one guy's probably gonna do Tiger Force of it, and then of course you can do Night Force, you can do Sky Patrol. There's all kinds of things you can do with the Conquest jet. You could even do the camo version. That was done. That was a Toys R Us exclusive, I think in '98 or '99. That came with the Night Force Ace, and so again, I figured I just wanted something that wasn't going to be super small, but not oversized. And I felt, what better than the Conquest? And of course, adding, you know, my twist to it and some upgrades, which I really felt were necessary, especially when doing this. And that's why I did talk to Guy Cassidy, and I even spoke with Carson from 3D Joe's, and he had told me a couple things that, you know, that they originally had envisioned for this, or Guy had envisioned for this, and so I was able to incorporate some of those features.
Awesome. Yeah, it looks super cool. And for me, you know, so who do you got piloting? That's one of the Night Force guys?
Yeah, that's the Night Force Ripcord.
Ripcord, awesome. For some reason, I'm just envisioning Duke in there, you know, with Michael Bell going, "Yo, Joe, come on."
Right.
This guy. And who was the pilot that came with it originally?
That was Slipstream.
Slipstream? Cool.
Yes.
I'm sure we'll probably end up with a Slipstream sooner or later on Classified. So
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure that they'll. I mean, it seems like the Classified team, like they're releasing every. I mean, it's kind of weird though. Like, there's no real order of stuff. You know, it's just kind of like, okay, one day they're going to do Tiger Force, and they're going to do, you know, Iron Grenadiers, and then they're going to do, yeah, it's, you know, they're kind of out there, but it seems like they're trying to release as much or as many as they can. Who knows? They may release a Conquest jet. If they do, it's not my design, but you never know. I mean, it's big enough to where it's something I could see them doing.
So, now, you designed the Rattler. How is the Rattler going to be bigger or smaller than this?
Rattler's about the same size.
So about the same size.
Yeah,
So
it's
they
actually
go perfect together.
for my measurements when I had done this originally, it is the exact same size, lengthwise, as the Rattler.
Cool. And then the Rattler's probably going to be maybe a little bit wider because of the wings?
A little bit wider, but then they added that feature that lets the wings fold up.
Cool. So, well, it looks amazing. You were showing me this has got some really cool detail work on it, and we'll get some pictures up, of course, too. But I was looking at the landing gear for part of it, the cockpit, and why don't you go over some of the cool features that you were showing me?
Okay, yes, definitely. So, one of the things here, let me move this down out of the way here. One of the things that I did not like actually about the Sky Striker or the Conquest, which I really liked that they had made the change on the Haslab Sky Striker, where they had your windshield and your canopy separate. And so I wanted to do the same thing with the Conquest because it wasn't, to me, it just wasn't realistic having it the other way. So the actual resin printed, now the canopy and the windshield, these are resin printed, done by a friend of mine, Jason Seeley. He does really good resin prints, and actually the way it feels like it's injection molded. I mean, he does a phenomenal job. Everything else is FDM. So I did want to make it to where the canopy is separate from the windshield. The figure fits in nicely. Now, one thing I did not do was you don't have a standard flight stick. It has more like a yoke type controller. I did that just because I wanted to be a little bit different. A couple other features I added to this was, now of course the original one had this, so that's nothing new. So you had your engine panel. Well, the original one also had an engine panel that was removable in the rear. Now, with this one, the engine panel is not removable in the rear. Well, it is and it isn't. But one of the things I did was I had it to where there's a hinge, so you actually have a, what is it? It's the, you said it earlier.
Like a brake flap or something?
Yeah, it's the flaps. So you've got your flaps here. Sorry, my age, I'm like, I'll say something 1 minute and next minute I'll forget it. But yeah, so you have your flaps, which I felt like, okay, so most fighter jets, you have that. I don't know if that's for speed or for braking. I guess I should really know what that stuff is, but I just figured, hey, they have them, so I'll add flaps to it. But the other cool thing I wanted to do was, so let's say you want to access the entire engine. Well, before you only had one small spot there, then the engine panel there. Now you have the option where you can literally lift this whole piece up. It's got tabs right here. And then you've got the entire engine detailed in there. And that was one of the things I really wanted to include. I wanted to make sure that, you know, if you have this parked on the deck of a classified scale aircraft carrier, by the way, one has been made. Derek Hicks, a really good friend of mine and one of our mods in my group, actually designed a classified scale flag. And so you want to be able to park this on your flag, you can. The other thing I wanted to do was add a tail hook. So we now have a tail hook. That was something that wasn't done on the original. I think Guy Cassidy was saying that he wanted to, but for whatever reason they weren't able to do it. So you now have a tail hook on there. The other thing I added on this, which I didn't do it on this one just because of time and I didn't want to do any wiring up. So I made it to where there's channels on the inside of the wings that actually will connect to the main fuselage, or the main body, the fuselage. And there's holes on the fuselage on the inside that connect to the wings. So you can actually wire it up. And if you print these marking lights in resin, then you can go ahead and light them up. Both wings, and then even the tail, you have that as well, to where it's on the far end, and then it kind of goes like an L shape. So, and that's just because this is really thin. I want to say it was like 5 or 6 millimeters thickness. So in order to do that, I think it was like 1.5 millimeters, or maybe, yes, I think 1.5 millimeters for the hole. So hopefully that's big enough for the wires. If not, I may have to make adjustments later. But again, so you can have marker lights on the tail as well. As well as the other thing I wanted to do was improve a little bit the landing gears, so they're nice and tight. They're not real flimsy or loose. And then that I added, so for the hinge, it's got a little ratchet type system, and then there's clips that clip it to lock it in place. Same with on the front, so that way it locks into place. There's no of them hanging down or dangling. They are nice and sturdy compared to the first model I did, where I was like, okay, I need to change a couple things because they were just flopping down. And so I wanted to fix that to where it doesn't do that. Again, just to show you how easy it is to put this on. It just literally goes into place there, slides right in, and then you've got your front panel there. Open up the landing gears. Yeah.
Man, it looks so cool. And then it looks for the armament. You got some machine guns up here and here.
Yep. You have the 2 machine guns in the front, which the original had.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't add anything extra or different. I did, of course, include the same style or same design for the missiles and the 2 bombs. I thought about adding maybe a pod or something like that, like maybe for a surveillance pod or a camera pod, but I wanted to keep this as close to the original as possible, so I wound up doing that. Oh, one other thing I did change. So if you look on the outside of the landing gear, on the bottom of it, it's reversed. So on the toy, you see this little wheel thing on the outside. That was never meant to be on the outside. Guy Cassidy always wanted it on the inside, but the engineers had reversed it. So I have fixed that, and so it's flat on the outside or flush, and then on the inside you've got the little wheel, which he'll take pictures of, and you'll see that in the video, like right there.
Mm-hmm. So awesome. You know, I don't know if you know, but if like repro labels or someone, there's got to be a way for them to blow up their stickers.
You would
to
think
make them
so.
a little bigger.
I mean, I've reached out to what is it? It's Toy Hacks,
Mm-hmm.
Who does really, really amazing repro labels.
Yeah.
At the time, no, this was maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
This is before Classified started doing this.
Yeah, so it was
Yeah.
Well, it was actually right around the beginning of, it was 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So it was right when we started upscaling stuff. And because people were doing custom figures and that were 6-inch, we had asked them, and even when Classified first came out, I think we asked them, and there wasn't really, I think, a demand. Now there is. So I just need to reach out to them and ask them. And I'm sure, but there are guys in the community who, Sean Chow, that's a gentleman who, he does repro labels. There's a couple other guys in the group who do them as well. And so I'm sure you're going to see that. I know one of the guys I was talking to today, I know that he's Steve Scully. I think he's making reproduction labels as well. And he does amazing resin prints. In fact, I can't wait to see this when he's done. Like him, Grimmelton, a couple other guys, they do really, really great resin. And that's what I want to see this. Like, I have a resin printer, but because of the fumes and smells, unless I'm being paid to do something, I won't even use the resin printer because it makes my son, sick, and makes my wife sick, and frankly, it makes me sick too. So we hate the smell of resin.
So cool. And then I don't know if I asked, but from start to finish, I know you're awesome with the programming, but how long do you think it took from start to finish?
This one took me a little bit longer than it was supposed to. This was supposed to be done early February, But due to just other things that had came up, and I've been really busy with other projects, it took a little bit longer. So we're in April now. So roughly about 6 months. I started this in November of last year. So it's about 6 months. Typically, something like this, I can get done in 2 or 3 months. But I've had other projects as well, and trying to get it all, time-wise to fit.
So I've got 2 super important questions. I'm going to ask them both at the same time. I'll let you answer in whatever order.
Okay.
First question is, do you have any new stuff that you're working on that's going to be revealed soon? That's number 1. And number 2 is, for the people that are out there watching, how do you get one of these? Like, how do you get one if you do have a 3D printer? And how do you get one if you don't have a 3D printer and don't know how to do any of that?
Okay, so with these, if you have a 3D printer, you can go on s3dtoys.com, and there'll be a link that you guys will see either down there or up there, wherever Joe puts it. So there will be a link. But then also, if you want to purchase a printed model, I haven't decided yet whether or not I'm going to sell printed versions of this. If I don't, there are a lot of people who do, and I am going to, so if I don't sell a printed one, I'm going to make a page, because I'm going to actually do that for the Tomahawk. I'll make a page of authorized sellers who can print these, and then you guys can contact, and they'll have their links to their profiles or Instagrams or Facebook or whatnot, and then you guys can order from them as well. Just because time-wise, I don't think I have time to print anymore, but you will be able to order printed ones. And these guys all have really good pricing and stuff. It's just a matter of whether you're going to get FDM or if you're going to get a resin printed one. And then in regards to projects that I'm working on, so the what I call the RAV vehicle, which is basically it's a 4-in-1 like tank, something similar to like what Ramen Toys did. Those files will be available here in the next 2 weeks or so. I'm slicing those up now. I am going to be starting the Defiant. It's going to be the shuttle, the booster, and the complex with the crawler. So it's in stages for that. I will not be selling any prints of that. I actually don't know if anybody's going to be selling prints of that because of how big it is. But those files are available for pre-order on my website if you want to print one yourself. That is, I'm limiting to 30 backers, and it's $500 per person. I know that's a lot of money, but again, it's just for my time and all that. That's a project that's going to take me some time. I'm going to start with the actual crawler complex first, and then once that's done, I'm going to release those files to anybody who backed, and then I'm going to start the booster and then the shuttle. So that way you'll be able to print it in segments, and you won't have to try to catch up or anything. You'll be able to print it right away. So I've got that I'm going to be starting in about 2 weeks. And then I've got my Army Ants line that's coming out. That's injection molded. Those will be available for pre-order probably around summertime, maybe mid-June. We're going to launch, I think, towards the end of the summer is when we should have all product landed. We're going to start with a 4-pack. And it's really kind of exciting. We're going to have a comic book with a new storyline, or actually a storyline, something that they'd never had before with Army Ants. And so really excited about that. They are going to be very similar to the original. So they'll be about 1.5 to 2 inches in height. And they'll be static figures. So there's no articulation, but they're going to be really cool. And hopefully with the storyline, that'll help as well.
Yeah, I've heard that you've been talking about maybe having a really cool rider if everything works out. So don't want to spoil it, just in case. But I've seen the prototypes and everything that you got, and they look really fun. I mean, they could really add to anybody's collection, or be a great standalone line as well. So now, one thing I wanted to clarify. So you're doing because the Defiant's massive, and seeing that in
Yes.
the classified scale, I mean that's going to be insane. Is it
Yes.
$500 for the complex and then
It's
500 for the shuttle?
No, it's 500 total. So it's 500. You get it all.
And only 30 people get to back that.
Only 30 people get to back it. So, and it's unfortunately due to
Wow.
the size. I'm not going to be everything I've done so far, I've been pretty lucky. Everything fits really good, no problems. The only thing I'll be test printing will be the booster and the actual shuttle itself. The crawler and complex is too big. It'll take up the size of this table. And so because of that, I'm going to forego on test printing the actual crawler just because I don't have space for it. I'm blessed to have an amazing wife that puts up with my addiction of the plastic crack. And so I've taken up, I think, way too much space as it is. I couldn't do that to her printing one of those, so it could be too big.
You know what? Why don't you do 500 for the crawler for 30 for everything? And sorry for putting you on the spot. And then maybe do 50 for just the shuttle at like $300. So 500 gets you everything, and then for 300 you can open it up to a few more people.
I might do that
Yeah.
down the line. And actually, that's a really good idea.
So
Only thing is, I have backers who paid already, and so I really don't want to do that to them. So I think what I would do is I would ask them first. I'd put it to a vote, similar to what we did with the Tomahawk. So originally with the Tomahawk, we were only going to do 10 backers because the Tomahawk was expensive. It was $500, 10 backers. But then I started getting a lot more interest in it. And so I asked everybody who backed it, I said, do you guys mind if we add some more? And they were all cool with it, but I made sure to get a vote from everybody.
yeah.
Because it matters what they think. And one thing I don't want to do is step on anybody's toes, especially when you're spending that kind of money.
Yeah.
Because $500, that's not chump change by any means. And so...
Well, and you could sell those things for $1,500 if you printed them all out, at least, right?
Oh, for
Maybe
the whole
even that.
shuttle and the complex? Oh, you're looking at about $6,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's expensive. I mean, just to do, let's say, a classified scale flag, it's about $6,000, because of your time, the amount of filament involved. I mean, it's big. And because it's 3D printed, it's not like this stuff's injection molded, stuff like that. It's very limited. Even then, there's times where I'm like, man, are people going to even be interested? Because for me, personally, I'm not going to spend $500 on an STL file. I just won't do it. No matter how amazing something is, unless it was a train. Like, if somebody had the train files before I designed it and it was really badass, because I love the G.I. Joe train, I would have done that. But I wound up designing it instead. Now, with that being said, I have a hard time sometimes charging these prices, but in order for it to be worth my time, and this is what I do for a living, I have to charge these prices. But I still feel like, man, are people really going to pay? And when they do, I'm like, wow, okay.
Well, if you got it to such a limited number, how many people in the world can own one of these? And if you, I get it as a Transformers collector and as a Joe collector. Now, if my pockets were a little bit deeper, I would be all over it because everything I've seen of yours is amazing. I'm still looking forward to the day when we get to put that Terradrome together all the way.
Yes. Well, we have some of the parts down there in a box, and I've got more parts. So, and I'm not even printing the Terradrome. I've got a friend of mine printing the parts for us, just because right now I'm so busy with stuff, and I've got, right now I made sure not to have anything printed for today because I knew we were going to be doing this video. Otherwise, you'd hear the printers in the background. And again, that's taking up my entire, dining room area.
Yeah, it looks like a factory over here.
It does. I get kind of jealous sometimes or envious when I go to someone's house and, like your house. Your house actually looks like a normal house. It's inviting. It's, something that, you could be proud of. And part of me, I feel bad because I wish we had that, especially for my wife, where, it could be more normalized, but it is a factory, unfortunately. And
you're a creator, and you've been doing it for a while. it comes with it, and I think it's really cool. I come over here, I think it's awesome, and you show me all this stuff, and I still trip out on it, and come over and I want to see it all again, and I still don't understand what 90% of the stuff here does, but it looks really cool, and you make really cool stuff with it. So,
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But if I ever win the lotto, I'm buying my wife a house, and then this will just be a factory.
Right?
Right?
Yeah.
Because I won't put this in a new house if we ever get a new house. So.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing all the new stuff. Thank you so much for showing this off. This is fantastic. And just can't wait to have you back on. Can't wait to build the Terradrome. Like, I love seeing new stuff when it comes in, but God, I have been just so freaking giddy on seeing the pieces for this and the boxes, and I've had kind of that base ring in my living room now for God, almost coming up on a year.
Right.
So it takes a minute to print, but oh man, it looks so cool. So awesome. Well, thank you so much. I think the kids wanted to have a little fun with these. Very careful fun. Very careful and supervised monitor fun. So we'll figure out a little something for them to stay involved with. And thanks so much again for
thank you
for coming on, and we look forward to the next time. And please like, subscribe, comment, share. Please visit Steve's website, s3dtoys.com.
Yep.
Okay, s3dtoys.com, and we'll put links in that. And if you guys have any questions, Steve is more than happy to answer them. If he doesn't see it on the video, I'll see it, and then I'll let him know to answer.
Yes.
So that Tomahawk video, for us being such a young channel, it exploded. So.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too, if you guys want to reach out to me, I am on Instagram as well. It's s3d_toys. I also have one that's just s3d toys, but I don't ever go on that one. So if you go on s3d_toys, that's the best way. Also, if you want to reach me and you have any questions. Otherwise, you could also message me through my website. I do have a live chat on there. I do have also, it's automated, it's an AI that now responds. But I do see all the messages, and so I can still respond to those as well. So sometimes you get some weird, you can tell it's like a bot or something. But if you wait, I will respond to it. I always respond after. I'm like, okay, these bots are annoying. But yeah, and then there's also a number on the site that it will allow you to, it goes to my phone, and so I take calls if you need any questions or if anything I can do to help out. And
awesome. All right. Well, thanks again, and we will see you guys soon. Again, please like, subscribe, share, comment, all the fun stuff, and we'll see you guys next time.
Should we do a Yo Joe?
Okay, ready? Yo Joe!
All right, that was easy.
All right.
Wait, such a boring day today. Wait, is that Cobra Commander down there?
Gosh, I know I left my $20 somewhere around here. We're not going home without it.
Hey Glenda, Crazy Lakes, I got a hot target.
Yo Joe!
Hey, how do I drop the bomb?
It went up right up Cobra Commander's keister.